Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, September 11, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Leading the Flames offensively is junior quarterback Malik Willis, who looked great in the season opener as he completed 65.2% of his pass attempts for 217 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. In addition, he had 55 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown as he excelled through the air and on the ground. Troy had no problems with the Southern Jaguars from the SWAC in the season opener. The Trojans outgained the Jaguars 467 to 189 in total yardage and 27 to 11 in first downs. The Trojans also created 4 turnovers while committing 2. Missouri transfer Taylor Powell, who did not play in 2020, led the offense with 234 yards and 2 touchdowns on 17 for 28 passing, and also added a 1-yard touchdown run for the game's opening score. Second-year freshman running back Kimani Vidal led the ground game with 81 yards on 15 carries. Wide receiver Tez Johnson had a team-high 5 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown pass in the first quarter that put Troy ahead 14-0. My first betting advice is to pick Liberty Flames -4. Leading the Trojans offensively is junior quarterback Taylor Powell, who looked pretty good last week as he recorded 234 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. However, he also threw 1 interception, so he will need to take better care of the football. Liberty outgained FCS Campbell Fighting Camels 537 to 269 in total yardage last Saturday, with neither team committing any turnover. Liberty passed for 319 yards and rushed for 218 yards in the victory. Willis went 15 for 23 with 217 passing yards and a touchdown, and added another 55 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Third-year freshman wide receiver Demario Douglas led the Flames with 84 yards, 7 catches, and a touchdown in the win. Senior running back Joshua Mack led the ground game with 60 yards on 19 carries. My second betting advice is to pick over 61. North Texas vs SMU. The North Texas Mean Green have been an overall good defensive team in the season opener against the Northwestern State Demons. They allowed 14 points, including pitching a shutout in the second half, but there is a lot of improvement needed. They struggled to get the opposing offense off the field as the Demons went 10 for 16 on 3rd down and 1 for 2 on 4th down. They allowed 418 total yards of offense, 157 passing, 261 rushing, but this defense has one number going their way: forcing turnovers. The Mean Green forced 4 turnovers, 1 interception, 3 fumble recoveries, and if they can continue to do so, they can pull off the upset here. Last year as a backup for the Sooners, Mordecai went 32 for 40 with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception all season. Ulysses Bentley IV, who led the Mustangs with 913 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns last year, had a team-high 48 yards on 10 carries in the win over ACU last weekend. My first betting advice is to pick SMU -22.5. The SMU Mustangs defense had a very good start to the season as they allowed just 9 points against the Abilene Christian Wildcats and forced the Wildcats to go just 5 for 16 on 3rd down and 1 for 2 on 4th down. They allowed 332 total yards, 213 passing, 119 rushing, and they were able to make it into empty stats that cannot hurt them. If they can continue to force punts, they will be in a great spot here. Austin Aune only went 2 for 5 for 51 yards passing in the season opener, but should see playing time against SMU. In 2020, Aune played 8 games for North Texas, completing 54.6% of his passes for 1,650 yards, with 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. My second betting advice is to pick under 73. Quick reminder, you can get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on our partner Sportsbook BetUS after you open an account using our link down below and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES when making your deposit. Leading the Eagles offensively is senior quarterback Ben Bryant, who looked okay in the season opener. In that game, he completed 80% of his passes for 126 passing yards. However, he also had 0 touchdowns as he was used more as a game manager. Wisconsin got off to a disappointing start by opening the year with a 16-10 home loss to Penn State. The Badgers dominated the stat sheet in the loss, outgaining the Nittany Lions 359-297 in total yardage and 29-11 in first downs for the game. Wisconsin also had the ball for almost 43 of the game's 60 minutes, but also committed 3 turnovers compared to 0 for Penn State. Wisconsin ran the ball 58 times for 174 yards with a touchdown, led by junior Shea Malusi, who picked up 121 yards on 31 attempts and the team's touchdown. Sophomore quarterback Graham Mertz completed 22 of 37 passes, but was also picked off twice in the loss. My first betting advice is to pick Wisconsin Badgers minus 25.5. Leading the Badgers offensively is sophomore quarterback Graham Mertz, who looked awful in the season opener as he completed 59.5% of his pass attempts for just 185 passing yards against Penn State. To make matters worse, he had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now, he will be looking for a much better performance on Saturday. Eastern Michigan played 2 quarterbacks in last week's opener. Last year's starter junior Preston Hutchinson and senior Ben Bryant, a transfer from Cincinnati. Against St. Francis, Bryant went 8 for 10 passing for 126 yards, and Hutchinson went 7 for 12 for 63 yards with an interception. Eastern ran the ball 58 times for 221 yards with 5 touchdowns in the first game, led by third-year freshman Darius Boone Jr., who picked up 107 yards on 22 carries with a touchdown. My second betting advice is to pick under 52. North Carolina State vs Mississippi State. North Carolina State did a good job offensively, scoring 45 points in the win. They threw for 232 yards and rushed for 293 yards in the win. The Bulldogs owned a 435-369 edge in total offense, picked up 22 first downs while allowing 14, and controlled the clock by a 32-20 to 27-40 margin in the contest. Mississippi State has to do a better job of protecting the ball as they turned it over 6 times, including a pick 6, while forcing just 2 takeaways. Will Rogers completed 39 of 47 passes for 370 yards with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception in the contest. Devin Leary completed 65.4% of his passes for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Zonovan Knight led the team with 163 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, while Lamika Emezi led the team with 71 receiving yards. My first betting advice is to pick North Carolina State Wolfpack minus 2.5. My second betting advice is to pick over 55.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.